What's up, YouTube? So in a previous video that I posted, the video about Olay's dark-skinned female promotion, I made a comment that triggered some people. I said the following, and I will say, and I'm just gonna put it out there. Some people may be offended, but I'm just gonna say, thank God when mainstream media wants that type of black male representation, you know, the homosexuals, transgenders, transsexuals, cross-dressers, drag queens, down low niggas, homo thugs, etc. When they want that representation, thank God they do not use a light-skinned, mixed, biracial man. No, thank God they don't use that. Use mixed, light-skinned, and biracial men for that representation. Thankfully, they'll just remember that they'll keep it to just right? The casting department will just keep it to, okay, black man, black male, right? Your quote-unquote typical black male. Because we already got enough bullshit to deal with. So, nah, don't push that shit on over here on us. Shit. And notice that was just an off comment in that was about what, a little over a minute and a few seconds out of a video that's 15 and a half minutes in length. Yeah. But yeah, so from that comment, or because of that comment, brown skin and dark skinned men and brown skin and dark skinned women came at me. They were kind of in their feelings about that comment. I don't know why. Although I will note, light-skinned, mixed, and biracial women did not come for me. That's something to note. For the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men, but especially the brown-skinned and dark-skinned women. Like, they ain't picking up they ain't doing what you doing. And really, they probably should be doing what you're doing. Based on the pedestal that those dudes put them on. But that's another video. So yeah, people were in their feelings about that comment, right? People kind of misquoted me and twisted my words around, and made it as if I were saying that brown skin and dark skinned men were, just by nature prone to LGBTQ lifestyle. No. They made it as if I was making that argument, right? That, like, how did we even get to that point? That's the thing. Based on the comment that I said in the video, how did we even get to that point? But yeah, people were in their feelings about that for some reason. Again, because I guess they really took it to heart and felt like I was saying that basically, like, by nature, by design, brown skin, dark skinned men are prone to LGBT lifestyle. And some people even was trying to make it seem like I was making a comparison between, light skinned, biracial, and mixed men and brown skin and dark skinned men. Saying that, oh, the brown skin, dark skinned men are more prone to it than the light skinned, mixed, biracial men, which that wasn't what I was saying, I mean, to keep it 100, it's an argument, but I never made that argument, though. And then folks was coming at me, for that comment, of course. But at this point, I'm like, it's pretty clear that brown skin and dark skinned men are the true chocolate goddesses of the black community. Just look how they are treated, right? You come for them, there will be hell to pay. Like, there's hell to pay when you come for them. But during this whole, situation and exchange or whatever you want to call it, people who were upset was, you know, low key and high key throwing it up in my face, or trying to anyway, like, oh, light skinned men are feminine, you know, light skinned men are feminine by default. I'm like, how? Please, someone, I'm just gonna put this out here. All right. How are light skinned, mixed, and biracial men feminine? I'll pose another question. How are dark skinned, brown skinned men masculine? Now, I'll flip this around and change things up a little bit. How are light skinned, mixed, and biracial women feminine? And how are brown skinned and dark skinned women masculine? All right. Let me know in the comment section about those questions. Yeah. Because during that whole exchange, it really revealed people's true colorist colors. It showed how they really view light skin and how they really view dark skin. And they'll try and, explain themselves a little bit when it comes to the brown skin and dark skinned women. Some of them probably will. When it comes to the light skinned, mixed, and biracial men, they ain't gonna pay us lip service, but they'll pay lip service to the brown skinned, dark skinned women though, right? I love all shades, right? Your black is beautiful, right? I wish I was dark skinned. And I think part of the issue is just, as far as this community is concerned, if we are just equating femininity and masculinity purely based on skin tones and nothing else, no wonder we have so many issues in this community. I did a whole video about gender role confusion in the black community, by the way. And I really feel like that is something that really gets swept under the rug and overlooked. But I really think this whole dichotomy of masculine is dark skin and feminine is light skin is part of the reason why this gender role confusion exists in the black community. Because folks are just really just concerned about the looks versus the actions. Because people's actions and their ways can make them come off as masculine or feminine. Because a masculine looking man can have some feminine ass ways. And a feminine woman can have some masculine ways. That does happen. But, people's reaction to what I said in the video made me wonder, what would it be like if brown skin and dark skin black men were promoted like brown skin and dark skin black women? At this point, I'm really convinced that brown skin and dark skin men's ultimate goal in life is to be a dildo. Almost all of their concerns about their media image and their public image seems to circle back to sexual desirability. That's it. Nothing else. Just that. Never mind all the other negative stereotypes that are out there. Right? Fuck being good. Fuck being seen as good fathers, good husbands, good providers, good protectors. Fuck building a legacy to pass on. Fuck obtaining power and respect. They'll take the money though. They'll take the money though. Um, but yeah, also I noticed all of a sudden people can think critically now, right? All of a sudden, colorism isn't just an ugly dark-skinned female's argument anymore, right? Because when people were coming at me, they were like, well, part of the reason why that is because brown skinned and dark skinned men have more media promotion than light skinned mixed and biracial men, you know. And then a guy came at me and said, like, he had mentioned, like, he having a son. He has mixed children, and one of his sons, who's mixed, of course, is, as he put it, a homo, but I'll say homosexual. And basically saying, and I think possibly implying that, you know, light-skinned men within the homosexual community perhaps are really sought after, you know, when it comes to like the feminine energy, you know, the feminine role within the relationship, you know. But I hadn't responded to him. I'm like, well, I've never mentioned anything about, you know, the homosexual community or the heterosexual community and sexual desirability within those communities. I mentioned media image, right? When the media wants an LGBT black man, they tend to go for brown skin and dark skinned black men. That's not me, that's the media. I just made an observation. So why are people mad at me for making an observation? You know, and I find that really hypocritical too. That you can push this whole light skin is feminine narrative on the men, right? But when someone honestly just even makes an observation, because I was never trying to even insinuate that, you know, brown skin and dark skinned men are like prone to LGBT lifestyle. But notice that. Notice when, you know, the script is flipped, right? You know? Notice, right, when it's their image, right? When it's them, all of a sudden it's an issue. Because this same person in the comment section was like, oh, colorism isn't a big issue, you know, as long as you know who you are. And I'm like, well, if what you're saying is true, if it's not a big issue, then why did you post your original comment to begin with, right? When you thought I was being colorist, when you thought, you know, I was implying that, or saying that brown skin and dark skinned men were more prone to LGBT lifestyle, right? Notice, I want y'all to notice when it's their issue, right? Then all of a sudden they can think critically. All of a sudden colorism exists. All of a sudden we have to, you know, deal with this issue. But when it's your issue, brown skin and dark skin women, they tend not to take that same tone. They tend not to take that same course of action, right? Although you do for them, you do. Sometimes you even put your issues in back of their issue. You put their issues in front of your own issues. And at that point, I'm like, either you're taking, when you start doing that shit right there, you're either taking on the role of a parent, like his mother, or either the role of a man. Pick which one you want. Because really, he's supposed to be doing that for you, not the other way around. Unless you are like a mother. But yeah, you know, but yeah, notice that, you know, like, I'm like, wait a minute, brown skin and dark skinned men. I thought colorism wasn't a big deal. right? I thought that colorism was an ugly dark-skinned woman's argument. I thought that you said that you shouldn't look to the media to validate you, right? Until it's your ass, until it's your media image. Now all of a sudden, it's a problem. Like, fuck out of here, man. You are just fucking hypocrites. Y'all don't want to do shit. Okay? And y'all ain't shit when you doing shit like this. Bunch of fucking scraggle fucks. That's what the fuck y'all are. Scraggly as the fuck. At the end of the day, if you don't care, don't comment. Right? If you don't care, you don't care. But yeah, notice it's just they don't care about their female counterpart. Right? They don't care about that. They care about themselves, though. But I got to move on to the next topic, or the next group of people I got to address here. And that group is brown-skinned and dark-skinned women. And before I get into this, I'm addressing a specific segment of brown-skinned and dark-skinned women, not brown-skinned and dark-skinned women as a whole. Okay? I'm addressing the specific segment that tends to be the mammy to these motherfuckers, tend to be the pick-me's, tend to be the mules, or want to just volunteer themselves to be mules and getting pimped the fuck out. Alright? So to that segment of brown skin and dark skinned women, quit caping for these niggas. Especially when they don't cape for you. Let the light skinned mixed and biracial women and the non-black women do that. Alright? You are not men. So when you do that, you are taking on a traditionally masculine gender role. And some of those same brown skinned and dark skinned men will turn around and say that you're not feminine. And think of a million and one excuses to pass you up. Let brown skinned and dark skinned men be the Mandingo, Wakandan warriors that you hype them up to be. Let them be that. Let them defend themselves. Better yet, let them defend you. Because I'm still waiting to see that. Stop being a damn mammy, a pick-me, a mule for these niggas. You getting pimped the fuck out. And you just volunteering to get pimped the fuck out. You know? But I'll put it to you like this. Because I know some of you probably going to be in your feelings about what I'm saying. You know? And you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in your feelings about what I'm saying. But I'll put it to you like this. If everything is so good in the hood between you and brown-skinned and dark-skinned men, then why are you here? Why are you on my channel? Why are you on my video? Why are you posting comments? If everything is so good in the hood between you and brown-skinned and dark-skinned men, you would have no reason to be on my channel because my content wouldn't appeal to you, because it would just be like, well, I can't relate. But you here for some reason. You know, so why not just enjoy your life with brown-skinned and dark-skinned men and keep it moving? But you here though. You know, and by the way, if you're looking for a debt to collect, as far as feeling entitled to something from me or the collective of light-skinned, biracial, and mixed men, you can definitely keep it moving. If you're looking for a debt to collect, you need to go to brown-skinned and dark-skinned men for that debt. Because we over here, light-skinned, mixed, and biracial men, don't owe you anything. Okay? The men who owe you something are the men you put on that pedestal. Since we ain't put on that pedestal, we don't owe you shit. I do what I do because I do what I do. Don't worry about why I do what I do. And that goes for anybody in this, any group of people in this community, whether it's the light-skinned mixed biracial women, the light-skinned mixed biracial men, the dark-skinned brown-skinned men, or the brown-skinned dark-skinned women. All right. Yeah. And also, I'll put this out here too. Thank God that light-skinned mixed and biracial men do not, by and large, participate in this counterproductive behavior. Like, for some reason, brown-skinned and dark-skinned women tend to just love to participate in the counterproductive behavior for some reason. Again, not all of you, but some of you. Okay? You know who I'm talking about. And really, the ones who are participating are ruining it for the ones who don't participate. Right? Also, I need to kind of throw this out here too, to the brown-skinned and dark-skinned black women. Y'all act like y'all ain't never seen dark-skinned a day in your lives by the way you be swooning over these brown-skinned and dark-skinned niggas. Y'all acting like y'all don't look in the mirror and see your own brown and dark skin. Right? Because I'll put it like this. Light-skinned mixed and biracial men, by and large, aren't impressed with light-skinned mixed and biracial women's features. Right? We don't act like brown-skinned and dark-skinned men, and even some brown-skinned and dark-skinned women when it comes to light-skinned and biracial women and their features. We don't act like that. We ain't hyping them up like that. Right? If they look good, they look good. You know, of course. But for some reason, you want to hype these niggas up when they ain't hyping your ass up. Not like that. Maybe once in a while they'll throw you guys a bone to shut you up. You know. But if they were hyping you up like you were hyping them up, then honestly, you probably wouldn't really have anything to complain about, or not much to complain about. And also, I think that this behavior that brown-skinned and dark-skinned women engage in is at least partially a performance. Like it's theater, at least partially. Because notice, when they find a non-black or a non-black adjacent man attractive, they tend to be way more low-key about it. Notice that. They ain't shouting it out on the rooftops when they find that man attractive. They're keeping it low because they know that they ain't supposed to really be doing that. Right? Even brown-skinned and dark-skinned women who kind of like have a history of dating a lot of light-skinned mixed and biracial men, they tend to make an apology for it, low-key. Like, oh, those are the guys who approach me. Right? And that's true. You know, I'm not saying that that's not true, but notice that apology or that low-key apology is thrown out there. Right? And I get why that is, but I'm just bringing that up to illustrate a point that it is sort of like a bias there. Like, you know, black women in general, but especially brown-skinned and dark-skinned black women have been low-key socialized and even brainwashed to only consider brown-skinned and dark-skinned men as options. You know, while the brown-skinned and dark-skinned men and black men in general are considering all their options a lot of the times. Not just brown-skinned and dark-skinned women are black women, you know. But I could probably do a whole video on that topic. That's for another day. All right. But another thing I want to bring up, you know, I've been making colorism videos for about more or less a year and a half. And I'll say that I have never had a brown skin or dark skinned man come to me and say, hey, thanks for looking out for the brown skin and dark skinned sisters. Now, I do have brown skin and dark skinned men who are subscribed and who do support me. So perhaps it's implied, but I've never had them verbally say it to me. On the other hand, I have had brown skin and dark skinned women come to me and say, "Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that." Why is that? Notice, that's something to note too. Um, Also, before I go though, I do want to mention this to the brown skin and dark skinned men. The topic of this video was about brown skin and dark skinned women's media image, not yours. You came into a conversation about dark skinned black women and brown skinned black women, and at least partially derailed the conversation and made it about you. Also, to the brown skinned and dark skinned women who played into that. Why? It was about you. It wasn't about brown skinned and dark skinned black men. That's part of the problem too. You keep putting yourself like in a secondary position for some reason. You putting yourself in a secondary position and he's going along with it. He's putting himself in a primary position. He's not putting himself secondary to you, but you are putting yourself secondary to him when it comes to you advocating for concerns. Like, oh, your concerns can take a back seat, but in his concerns, I have to go hard in the paint for. But that's not reciprocated, I don't see, from those brown skin and dark skin black men. And to the brown skin and dark skin women, uplift yourself. Put yourself on the pedestal. And at the end of the day, these dudes are only what you hype them up to be. Without you hyping them up, they wouldn't be much. Okay? Yeah. And I know some of you gonna be saying, yeah, they have the mainstream media. They do. But notice, a lot of times in this mainstream media, black women are supporting those dudes. At least when it comes to the entertainment, right? With the music, the movies, the television shows, black women are hyping those dudes up. Black women are putting the money in their pockets. That's why when they come out with, come out and it's like, oh, they have a non-black woman, they feel the need to kind of like explain themselves to you because they know they need your support. If they didn't need your support, they wouldn't explain themselves to you. Take note of the athletes, right? The athletes, they don't really need your support because they don't get it. They don't need it, right? Like their salary is not dependent upon black women. So you notice that the athletes who do that tend not to really explain themselves to black women when they get upset about, seeing them with a non-black woman. Okay? So black women, brown skin and dark skin black women, a lot of this is in you kind of have the ability to sort of make or break these dudes. It's like you have the key to solving or to getting out of the jail that you're in. Like you have the key to solving your problem, but I don't think you know that you have the key, or either you're afraid to use the key. And the same thing goes for you in relation to these light-skinned and biracial mixed women. A lot of times y'all be supporting them. Withdraw your support and see how that goes. And as withdraw your support from a lot of these people. Like, stop supporting them. What you getting out of it? You ain't you getting little or nothing out of it. Shit. Honestly, I'll put it like this. Just treat them like you treat non-black and light-skinned, mixed, and biracial men. Treat them like that. See how that goes. But I know that ain't gonna happen. I know y'all too scared. Y'all scared. Y'all like, what's gonna happen to us, right? Because you've been just so brainwashed, so beat down, that you don't think that you're worth it, do you? Because sometimes when you've been just so beat down for so long and a good opportunity comes along, sometimes you think that you're just not worthy. But if you don't think you're worthy, then who else will? And I'll leave on that note. So thanks for watching, you guys. Please feel free to comment and let me know what you think in the comment section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.
Girl, you look good, want to back that.